Hello everyone, this is Supersnoopy here, back with another Star Wars The Old Republic video. Today I have for you guys another Star Wars The Old Republic discussion episode. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about credit farming, the pros and the cons of it, what it's used for, what are some of these strategies, and all that stuff. So, I hope you guys enjoy this Star Wars The Old Republic discussion episode. As always, if you guys enjoy these videos, then make sure to leave a like. And if you guys want some nice gaming glasses, and check the links down below. No scope gaming glasses, but yeah. I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I'll see you guys in the discussion. Alrighty guys, let's get into the discussion right now. So as you can tell, credit farming is a way you get credits in the game just by constantly doing a certain task. Now you may be wondering, what on earth is credit farming? Well, if you have seen a few of my guide videos, some of it is like getting credits fast at a high level and lower level. Good example of this is where you play a bunch of PvP matches, you manage to obtain a bunch of accommodations, and then put your effort into getting the lock boxes for some quick credits. So that's just one good example of credit farming. Another good way is just kind of manipulating the whole entire GTN, you know, constantly trying to get better gear and whatnot, then trying to sell and then resell it. That's kind of the strategy for the whole entire credit farming and what it means. Now, you may be wondering, why on earth would people credit farm? Now, the best reasoning that I can give you is because, like I said, I mean, a lot of in-game currency can help you a ton. Now, this can be confused in multiple ways. Now, what I mean is some people confuse credit farming as in exploiting. Now, you have to understand that exploiting is, you know, repeatedly doing a certain task and or something that gives you a really unfair advantage in the game. Now, that's not what I'm saying. When I'm saying credit farming, I'm technically meaning a good example of like doing dailies every day on multiple tunes. That's just a good sign of credit farming. Another way would be like soloing some of the trash mobs in TFB, and or doing some of the old operations, just undermanning them and managing to make a bunch of credits from the gear that drops and or the mobs themselves. That's also a good example of credit farming. And I feel like when you credit farm, it can be a bit tedious and it can be really annoying, but at the same time, it's a good way in order to get stuff. Now, that's just the whole entire idea of what it is. Now, you may be wondering, obviously, if it sounds really good, then there has to be some cons, and there are. Now, one of the cons to the whole entire credit farming is that, as good as it sounds, it may not be the best, considering if you're one of those players, you know, they constantly play the game, but at the same time, they don't want to, I guess to say, use too much of their time just constantly focusing on one part of the game. Because I know that a lot of people that try to get a lot of the in-game currency really fast is by just doing all the dailies on their tunes, just constantly going through all of them. If they have like 8 tunes, they'll just do all the dailies in one single day, which can be a while. So most people who credit farm, some of them do that by getting dailies. Others just do it a really simple way, just kind of flipping the market. And that can be just very depending on server, considering the fact as well is that, I don't know, most players have caught on to people flipping the market and they try to stop it. But if you are into a small server and you don't have many people using the GTN, then it's really easy to flip the market. But if you are on a high pop server, that can become a huge problem, and it can be a really big fail in the long run if someone manages to catch on to your little marketing scheme. Now, that's not to say that it's good or bad, because it's kind of 50-50 with farming credits, because you are getting a huge gain just by doing the regular objects and objectives in the game. But at the same time, it is a big con if you're one of those players, you know, they don't have too much time on their hand one day and they just don't want to play the game too often. Then farming credits won't be that easy, considering the fact that, I mean, it's just something that's important to just note in the game itself, and something that a lot of players just fail to realize. Because farming credits, as much as it can sound fun, just because you can get all those really nice rewards, but I don't know, I mean, I, for one, just the way I farm credits currently is just by doing undermanning the scum and villainy operations, slash just soloing some of the trash mobs and or soloing operations. That's kind of my tactic. I mean, I know a lot of other players have seen that guide before, and they might do it every now and then for the challenge. But once you manage to obtain tons of gear, the endgame gear, PvE, it can be really simple to solo those operations. And considering they are going to balance them, it could be a bit of a disappointment, because some players might not be able to do that if they balance it from level 50 to 60 to 65. Since soloing the operations is actually very interesting, and it is a good challenge, but it can also be very, very rewarding just by farming it, just playing the operation the way it's meant to be played. Now, I wouldn't recommend just trying to constantly, do different kinds of exploits where, you just try to, I would say, take advantage of the whole entire system of just being the fact that you can solo the operations. Now, I don't know what BioWare's stance on it, or this stance right here, but I know that some players will actually just reset the whole entire phase when they are doing the whole entire credit runs and when they are soloing the TFB trash. Now, I don't do that because that could be considered an exploit, but at the same time, if if they implemented the game like that and that is a way to get credits and it is a challenge, then I don't consider it an exploit. But if they give confirmation on it, then I won't do it. No one ever bothered to do that, since it seems like it could be very dangerous, since I don't want to risk my account getting banned for something as stupid as that when I can just simply, get a small group together, do the operation. So what I mainly do to farm creds is I usually go through some of the level 55 operations, specifically Scum and Villainy and Terror from Beyond. I just solo most of that trash. Then after that, I just get a group together, a little strike team of like 3 or 4 people, and we just clear the whole entire operation. We can't really clear TFB, but we can clear some of the, I would say, Dread Fortress and the Dread Palace ops. So that's pretty nice right there. And of course, you can obviously skip the boss in Scum and Villainy, but you get no gain whatsoever, because skipping the boss, you still have to kill it either way. So you aren't gaining absolutely anything from trying to solo that. So what I do is I just solo the TFB trash. Then I usually get a group together. We do manage to kill all the bosses in Scum and Villainy. We kill a few of them in Terror from Beyond. We kill the money bosses. We do all that stuff. And then you end up running around with a bunch of, a few million credits. Now, I'm currently sitting at 824k. But I'm one of those players that tries to quickly get the credits off my hands, tries to get a bunch of the decent looking items from the cartel market and or just some packs just to gamble them off. So that's just me. I know some other players use it to save up to get like the Ranko amounts, like one of the new ones right here. I did manage to obtain this from a pack as well. It's also very glitchy and I look really weird, but yeah, I managed to obtain this off of one of the packs, so it's pretty decent. But I know some players do this just to try to get the decent looking mounts in the game and or just do different stuff. So that's just going to be this Star Wars Zero Pro discussion on credit farming, the pros and cons of it, what I currently do, and some of these strategies of it itself. I know I've made a guide on just lower level and higher level, how to make credits fast. But I felt like this would be a good discussion episode, since I've never really given my opinions on just credit farming and some of the ideas of the whole entire just technique of using it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this Star Wars Zero Pro discussion episode. As always, if you guys enjoy these videos, then make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next one.